Okay, how much do you remember about multiplying and dividing integers? Find the product. So when I'm multiplying, even if I have more than just two factors here, like I do in the first example, I can start with these first two. So let's see, 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Or if I wanted to, I could even rearrange. 3 times 2 times 5. Then I'd have 3 times 2 is 6, times 5 is also 30. I could even make 5 times 2 times 3. Then I'd have 10 times 3. You see, no matter how I rearrange these factors, since those are all multiplying together, you can see I get the same results. I can multiply those factors in any order. What if I have a negative times a positive? So this is like I'm $2 in debt. I multiply that by 3. So now I'm $6 in debt, right? Negative 6. So, or you can write down a little rule. I can say a negative times a positive is negative. That's a handy little rule to remember. Okay, what about down here? I bet you remember this one. If I have a negative times a negative, two negatives, negative times a negative, the two negatives cancel each other out. A negative times a negative is a positive. So negative 4 times negative 5 is positive 20. Two negatives cancel. Okay, so here if I have several factors, I'm just going to work from left to right. Okay, so let's see, what was the rule? So a negative times a positive is negative. So that's negative 8. Carry the rest of this down. A negative times a negative is positive. Carry the rest down. A positive times a negative is negative. A negative times a positive is negative. Here's another one with multiple factors. All stored on the left. A positive times a negative is negative. A double negative, a negative times a negative is a positive. Oh, this is a special one. Because look, if I have any number times 0, that's just 0. So actually, as soon as I saw this problem, I can see that all factors, since these are all multiplied together, and I have that factor of 0 in there, I could tell you immediately the answer is going to be 0. Since all these other factors are ultimately multiplied by 0. What about division? Starts out pretty basic. 12 divided by 3 is 4. You can check that by thinking Well, 3 times 4 makes 12, right? Okay, similar rules to multiplication. If I have a positive, one positive and one negative, so positive divided by negative, or vice versa. So how would I say that? Or negative divided by positive. Is negative, as you might have guessed. So it's like multiplication. If I have one positive and one negative, the result is negative. So if you go to check this, look, this is kind of cool. Negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. So that does work. Okay, here we have a negative divided by a positive. So we know that's negative. We can check it by saying 2 times negative 4 is indeed negative 8. Did we already write this rule down? I guess we didn't. So similar to multiplication. Should I do that in red? Negative divided by negative cancels out and gives me a positive quotient. So negative 18 divided by negative 6 would be positive 3. Check it, look. Negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. Okay, here's the special one. I have 0 in the numerator. So if I have 0 things dividing by some number here, some non-zero number, well, the result is just 0, right? Because I have 0 things to divide. Look, negative 5 times 0 is 0. Okay, so should I write a little rule? So 0 divided by a number non-zero. Now, we had 0 divided by 0. That's a special case. So 0 divided by a number that's non-zero is just 0. What about this one? Because this one doesn't really make sense. This says I have 12 things divided by 0 people. Huh? Well, it doesn't make sense to divide by 0 people. So actually we cannot divide by 0. So this we would call undefined. Okay, so 0 in denominator, so under a non-zero number, is called undefined. Okay, did we write down a negative divided by a negative? I think we did. Negative divided by a negative is positive. So negative 15 divided by negative 15 is 1, right? Because if you think of checking that, negative 15 times 1 is indeed negative 15. What's 6 divided by 1? If I have 6 things and there's only one person, well, that one person gets all 6 things, right? 1 times 6 is 6. Longer expressions, I work from left to right. Okay, so let's see. Negative 15 divided by 5. I have a negative divided by a positive, that's negative. Carry the rest of the expression down. Negative 3 minus 4. I'm $3 in debt, spend another $4, now I'm $7 in debt. Well, now I have to deal with this absolute value. Do you remember the absolute value of negative 2? That's where we said, what is the distance from 0 to negative 2? The distance is 2 units, right? $7 in debt, I pay back $2. I'm still $5 in debt. And one more interesting one. Okay, so let's start with working here in the numerator in the top of the fraction. 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Double negative, negative 4 divided by negative 2 is positive 2. Shall I do a little work here? What is 2 cubed? Remember that one? It's 2 times 2 times 2. So that's 8. Okay, so now I have to do my multiplication here before I can do my addition. So let's see, that's negative 16 times negative 1. So we have 2. Negative times a negative is a positive 16. Scratch work there. Let me move this down. Okay, let me combine. So let's see, 2 plus 16 is 18. Then I have to deal with all these negatives in this last term. Let's see, so I have a negative divided by a negative. Negative 8 divided by negative 4 is positive 2. 18 minus 2 is 16. And so I got an answer. Here's a little application. If your savings account had $400 in it. Okay, so you had $400 positive. Then you made 5 withdrawals. So withdrawal means you took money out. So you subtracted 5 times, let's see, of $30 each. So you took out $30 5 times, right? Then you made a deposit of $200. So you added $200. Okay, so how much do you have now? Well, I have to do this multiplication before my subtraction. Is that 150? Then I just work from left to right. So looks like now I